Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my newly acquired 2022 Toyota Supra, and in this video we're going to talk about why I bought a 2022 Toyota Supra. Right, so this kind of came out of the blue. I made a video on all the cars I was considering. This car wasn't even on the list. So some of you guys might be wondering, why would I buy this car out of all those options and all that other stuff I was thinking about? Because obviously I have the M2, which is really dirty right now, so excuse that. But believe it or not, the Supra and the M2 are completely different. Like, even though they're both BMWs and they both have inline sixes and all that, they're completely different vehicles. And I actually already made a video comparing them both. I don't know if that's going to come out before this one or not, but yeah, they are completely different. But I did have some good options on there, which we'll talk about in this video. We got the Tesla out here in the driveway. This is the new garage setup, by the way. The M2 is going to be in this corner. Tesla's going to be right here, because if I need to charge it, I have the charger right there, so I can plug it in. But yeah, we're gonna hop in the Supra here real quick, take it for a drive, and then talk about what prompted this decision. So let's get going. I always show you guys startups from outside, but what about the inside? So let's start it up from here. Starts right up. Has the old school Beamer chime. All right, guys, so let's talk about this. So we got you on the POV hat. Hopefully you guys can see okay and it's not blowing out the outside like it sometimes does. So I've always liked the Supra, right? When the Supra came out in 2020, I thought it was a super cool car. I was a little disappointed that it only had 335 horsepower, but obviously BMWs are underrated, so it was really around like 360, 370. But when the Supra first came out, I thought it was really cool. It also came out when the C8 came out, and the C8 kind of overshadowed it. Even though the C8 was more expensive, it wasn't more expensive by like a lot. But I thought the Supra was really cool. Like, I always thought it was a cool car. I loved, that it had the ZF 8-speed automatic. I loved all the pops and stuff. I thought it sounded really good. So the Supra, I've always liked it. Obviously, later on, they came out with the more horsepower in 2021. This particular one is a 2022, but they came out with more horsepower. I'm like, okay, now it's making some serious power. And even though it says 382, it's really a little bit above 400, since it's slightly underrated. I never really thought about actually buying one because they were kind of expensive for me at the time. I had my Mustang, and it was like my Mustang was like 32,000 brand new after like discounts and rebates and everything. So like, I was used to paying like that price, right? So I couldn't really like justify or necessarily afford a car that was like $60,000. It kind of wasn't really in my budget, right? But later on, when it came to me actually buying like a more expensive car, when I finally started making some more money, right, I was like, all right, well, let's see what's out there. And the Supra had already been out. By the way, I'm talking about like late 2023 now, because that's when I bought the M2. So I was looking for a new car. I was looking at the RS3, I was looking at M2, and I was like, well, the M2 is like $10,000 more, or like $10,000 to $12,000 more MSRP wise than the Supra, and let's see what the M2 offers. And for me, I mean, the M2 just offers so much more. I mean, it is $12,000 more, but the M2 offers just so much more. It has the S58 engine, it has more luxury. For me, because this is a third car now, but for me, that was going to be my second like fun car. And the M2 offered so much more space. It was a real BMW. It wasn't like a BMW branded as Toyota. And it just, at the time, the M2 just made more sense. The M2 was just a better buy. So I just spent a little bit more and got the M2. Couldn't have been happier. So that's the only reason why I never like really bought a Supra, is just because, like I said, when they first came out, it was out of my budget. And then when I could afford the Supra, the M2 existed, and the M2 was worth it for me to pay more to get the M2. Now things have changed, because now that I'm looking for a third car, and I still have my M2. So it's not like I'm replacing this with the M2. Or excuse me, it's not like I'm replacing the M2 with this car. Let's talk about how this deal came about. So the previous owner of this car, when the car was only like 5 months old, I don't know if he reached out to me on YouTube or Instagram or however it happened, but we ended up meeting up because he lived in Vegas. I had my 10-speed GT Mustang at the time. I always wanted to see how a 10-speed GT does versus a stock Supra. And so we did the race. The GT Mustang was a little bit faster, but you know, I always thought the Supra was cool. We stayed in touch, and he bought the car new, so you know, he was the first owner. And then he just texted me out of the blue towards like Christmas time. I think it was on Christmas Day actually. He was just like, hey, I'm gonna sell the Supra, do you know anyone that might be interested? And I was like, well, I was thinking to myself, I was also kind of looking for like a third fun car. I'm like, what if I buy his old Supra? So then we started talking about like pricing and everything and what he'd sell it to me for. I did my research on my end and everything, and I was like, okay, you know what, this is actually a pretty good deal. So I ended up buying it. Here in Nevada, if you buy a car private party, even though I got it shipped from Texas, I live in Nevada. So if you buy a car private party, you don't pay sales tax. So the price I bought this car for is how much I'm in it for. And then plus obviously shipping, I had to pay for shipping. I was gonna drive it out, but I'm kind of glad I paid for the shipping because that just would have been brain damage to do a 17-hour drive. But I'm in this car for the price I paid for and the shipping. Right, so I'm in the car for a good deal, and a good deal can make any car seem much more attractive. Like for example, my RS3, if that car was like a $50-some thousand car, I'd be like, heck yeah, I'd still have my RS3 probably. But I just felt like that car was not worth, mine was like 66,800, I think, 66,800. I just felt like the car just wasn't worth that. There was a lot of things I didn't like about it. Don't want to go down like a rabbit hole there, but if the car was cheaper, I probably would have been like more interested in that car. Because some people in the comments are like, oh, you just don't like it because you can't afford it. And that's not true. It's because I didn't want to afford it, and I bought it because I was stupid. But anyway, another reason why I got the Supra is because I like racing, and a stock Supra is a pretty fast car. Like, this car is very impressive stock. It gets up and goes. And this one has some bolt-ons, obviously. I don't think it really changed much over a stock one, but a stock Supra is a fast car. And you guys know how much I love my racing, and you know, I feel like this is perfect because it's kind of like puts it in the realm of like kind of like around the Tesla speed. We still need to do that race, by the way. But it's still a gas car, it's still fun. I can race it versus other cars that are kind of like around this performance realm, because the M2 with the CS Flash is just so much faster that it's not even like close to cars that are around this performance level. So it's kind of nice having like two cars that are at different performance levels. Another thing is that it's a good car to make content on. As soon as I posted the video that I picked up this car, I bought a new car, everyone was like, oh, how does it compare to the M2? Well, not everyone, but I got a few comments that are like, oh, how does it compare to the M2? I'd like to see what your thoughts are comparing the S58 to the B58, whatever, this, that. And yeah, I love making videos like that. I love doing comparison videos, driving back to back, doing all that stuff. So I think this car would be a fun car to make content on as well. I know the Supra is kind of like overdone. Like everyone and their mom has done a video on a Supra. I feel like my videos are a little bit more unique because I don't do like all those crazy mods. I'm more talking about like how the car performs, how it is from the factory, and like doing racing, and you know, the thoughts on like actually owning the car. Although there are videos, you know, that, you know, people that make videos like that, like Bros 4 Speed and all that, like they make good videos on that stuff. But yeah, those are the main things. But now let's talk about the cars I compared this to. So there's a few cars that I was heavily shopping for. Some of the cars I mentioned in my video were just kind of ideas, but there are some cars I was actually seriously considering buying. One of them was the Nissan Z, and another one was a C7 Corvette. Those were the main ones that I was heavily considering. So let's first talk about the Z. So the Supra is better than the Z in so many ways. The only reason why I was considering getting the Z is because it's a little bit more unique. Not as many people have them. And because I can get the sport trim, which is the base one, for a decent deal. It's like a 45 MSRP, and I had dealers give me like 40 to 41 out the door on the car with taxes, right? So that's like a sale price of like 36 or 37,000 on the car, which is a really good deal. But the car itself, unfortunately, I just wasn't really in love with the car. I'd be buying it just to buy it, and I wasn't really like, I didn't really like it that much. I mean, like, I liked the car, but it wasn't like, I'm like, oh yeah, this would be a great car to have. Like, this car, I actually like it. Like, the transmission is so great, the sound, and like, I actually like this car. I wouldn't buy a new one just because for a third car, it's a little too expensive for like a third car. I'm not trying to spend $60,000, especially since the 2026 Supra is literally exactly the same as a 2021, right? So there's like I mean, they might have did like a wheel choice difference or something, but it's literally the same exact car. They didn't change anything. So that's why I don't feel bad about buying a 2022 Supra, because it's the same car as the 2026 basically. And then you might be thinking like, what if you just got a used Nissan Z? They weren't really good deals. A used Z is like similar to what you can get a new one for, so it doesn't really make sense, because a used Z is like 36,000 like the sport trim, and then the new one with the deal I was getting on it, it was like pretty much the same price to get a brand new one. So it didn't really make sense for me to get a used Z. And yeah, like I said, the Supra's just so much better. It has better space inside than the Z, at least for me. A better engine sound, a better engine in general, a better transmission. I mean, it's just kind of like so much better in every single way. So, which makes sense because the Supra is way more expensive than a sport trim Nissan Z. But the fact that I can get this one with 37,000 miles from someone that I know, a one owner car, for the same price pretty much that I would have spent on a brand new Nissan Z sport trim, this is just a much better value for me. Even though I'm not typically a used car kind of guy, this is just a much better value for me. Let's talk about the C7 Corvette. So that's also a great option, but the reason why I didn't get one of those is because I couldn't find one that was like a good price. For one, I couldn't find one from like a private seller that was a good price. I couldn't find one like at a dealership that was really a good price. So the Corvette idea just kind of, and they're just so expensive. Like a 2016 with like 40,000 miles is still like 40 grand before taxes. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to spend that much money on a 10-year-old car. Like this car is 4 years old. The Corvette that's around the price that I paid for this would have been like a 10-year-old Corvette. And to me, that's just like, I don't want a car that's that old. I feel like it's gonna be problems, or I just don't want a car that's that old. Another one I was considering was a Camaro. Same thing, no real good deals available, nothing that I really wanted. I want a 2016 through 18 model, and I want it to, okay, can't see around this Mercedes. All right, we're gonna take off. The trans just very smooth in the drive mode, because I didn't have it in sport. That was just very smooth shifting, and it runs great. Like this car runs fantastic. Like I said, I want the 2016 through 18 body style with a manual, and just I couldn't really find one, couldn't find a good deal, couldn't find one that wasn't clapped. So that just didn't really work out. Mustang, already had one. I'm not gonna get another one unless like something else comes out new in the future that's different. GTI Golf R, loved it, already had it. BRZ 86, that's another one I was heavily considering. Unfortunately, that car just, I don't know. Again, not fully in love with it, kind of like the Nissan Z. Yeah, that's kind of a good way to put it. It's kind of like how I felt about the Nissan Z. Like, it's cool, it's fun, but like, wasn't really in love with it. The BRZ is a little on the slower side, which is okay because I have them too, but you know, it's a little slow. I didn't really have any good deals on that car. Like, I would get a used one if I got one of those. And my goal was to be like 24, 25,000 all in, like whether I buy it privately or out the door from like a dealership. And I want one with like lower miles, like 30,000 or less. And I couldn't really find that. So that car kind of, I mean, I still may get one in the future, but nah, wasn't really, I don't know, wasn't really in love with that either. Like I said, this is just such a better value. Like, even if I got one for like 26,000, this car I feel like is $14,000 more car. Like, it's worth it. So much faster. I mean, like I said, the technology and how nice it is and everything, it's just so much better. So yeah, that's the main cars I was really considering. I still may get a C7 Corvette after I'm done with this car, because I do want to own a Corvette. We got to make JVette a reality at some point. I'll make it work. Like the C7, I don't fit in it great. I will make it work. It's worth it for a Corvette, so I'm gonna try to figure it out one of these days. Or a Camaro. I do want a, you know, a Chevy V8 at one point. What do you want to see out of the Supra? Not crazy mods. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to do upgraded turbo and all that stuff. But what do you guys want to see out of the Supra in terms of like videos or ownership videos or comparisons or racing or anything like that? And if you guys made it all the way to the end, you guys know sometimes I like to do a little acceleration for the people that have patience. We'll do a little 40 roll, a little something light. This thing is fast. It is fast. Now I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I'm about to make a video comparing 91 versus E-blend on the stock tune to see if it's faster. It's faster because I have a little bit of E in here. It's not a full E30 mix, it's like an E20 mix right now, so I need to put a little bit more E85 in. But this car with a little bit of E in there, I mean, even with 91, it's a quick car. Like, it is very solid. And again, this is fun. Like, I love cars that are fast, and like I feel like I wouldn't be happy with like the Nissan Z. I mean, the Nissan Z is plenty quick enough, but I was gonna get a manual one, and the manual just felt like trash, and the auto kind of felt like trash too, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't really work out. But this is fun, and I love this ZF 8-speed. Let me answer one more question, because I know some people were asking, because I wanted to get like a manual. Why didn't I get a manual Supra? Well, A, this one came available and it wasn't manual, it's a 2022. And B, the manuals are too expensive. And C, I don't want the manual Supra. If a ZF 8-speed's available, I'm gonna go with the ZF 8-speed. I'm not gonna get a manual. That sums up this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.